Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Everyday Tech, and I am here to talk about the Pixel 8a, which is getting a bit of odd coverage, I personally feel like. Now, we all know I'm a Pixel fan, if you want to call me a fanboy, whatever, but that doesn't make me go against some of the narrative I've been seeing about this device. Let's get into this. So first and foremost, I've had this phone since its announcement, so a little bit before release date, so I've had a lot of hands-on time with it. I got to play with it every day, and let me tell you something. I'm going to jump right in. If the biggest problem a phone has is that sometimes the better version of that phone is on sale, it's a damn good phone. So that's my biggest complaint with what other reviewers have been saying is that the Pixel 8 is on sale a lot, therefore it is a better deal than the Pixel 8a, but that's completely negating the fact that the Pixel 8a will also be on sale and that even at launch you can get it on sale. So, with that out of the way, let's actually talk about the device without being a typical YouTuber who's just trying to kind of go against pixels. So first off, I'm going to talk about the design, and honestly, it is very familiar, but it's a little different in some very small ways that make kind of a big difference in my experience. For one, let's talk about the shape. Now you'll see here that it's very rounded, has a much more playful build. It actually reminds me of the iPhone 11 in its size and its build. So the typical Pixel 8 and 8 Pro are a little bit more rectangular. This is very oval, way more friendly, and a little bit more bubbly. Now, second thing is the materials being used on it. There's no longer Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and back. This has a polycarbonate back. It's a fancy way of saying plastic, but this plastic honestly feels premium. And I feel like every year I say, man, they can't make plastic feel more like glass. And then every year, either Samsung or Google completely surprises me with how good they make plastic feel. This one is also helped by the fact that it is a matte finish. So that's one thing I give this over the regular Pixel 8 is it has a matte finish, no fingerprints, nice and soft to the touch, and honestly, plastic is more durable, so it's kind of a win in my book, even though it's not as premium. Now, remember, this device costs $499. It's a $500 phone. They're going to do what they can to drop the cost. Now, you turn that around and you have this screen, which has been causing a lot of issues because it has big bezels. There's no hiding it. I'm not going to lie to you and try to justify the big bezels. They're big bezels. We've seen smaller bezels on similarly priced phones, so I don't know why they weren't able to nail that with this, but in all honesty, as with notches, dynamic islands, or bezels, once you start using the device, it kind of goes away. You don't really care about it, you don't really notice it, but they are there. So if you're somebody who really cares about the aesthetic of bezels and you like having that super thin frame, this may not be the one for you. For me personally, I don't mind bezels. It kind of prevents me from doing accidental touches, and I'm not so shallow when it comes to the bezel debate. I care about more other aesthetic features of phones. So design-wise, it really looks like a Pixel. They actually really refined the Pixel look and it's coming to its own, but it's different at the same time. It's more rounded than it was. So we're seeing a weird evolution of them refining their phones, but separating it from the flagships. Hey, I like it. It feels really comfortable in the hand. It's nice and lightweight. Even though it's a bigger screen at 6.1, which is the smaller of big screens, it's very comfortable to use and it's great for watching things. So no complaints there. Now speaking of the screen, there is the beautiful fact that this went from 90 Hz from last year's 7a to 120 Hz just like the Pixel 8. I mean, to get a phone with 120 Hz at $500 every year is making the iPhone look bad. I understand the argument. I understood it 2 years ago about most people don't care, but every year where phones like this come out with a 120 Hz high quality screen at this price point, that argument's going out the window. I love it. It feels smooth, it feels quick, but there is one small caveat, and that's that out of the box, the 120 Hz is not activated, so you have to go into display settings and turn it on to take advantage of that beautiful, silky smooth screen. So what else? We have the screen, we have the build. How about performance? This is rocking Google's Tensor G3 chipset, which is the same one you find on the 8 and 8 Pro. Now what that does for this means you're gonna get really good performance, maybe not up there with this latest Snapdragon performance, but for the everyday person, especially somebody who's just trying to buy a $500 phone, it's gonna fly. Games play very well. Some games can hit up to 120 hertz if you lower the graphics. Most games would be at around 90 hertz, 60 to 90 hertz refresh rate, and it will get a little bit warm, just like the Pixel 8. It has all the same Pixel 8 issues, but also has all the Pixel 8 performance, and it has that Pixel 8 AI on device. This is now the most affordable phone you can pick up that has AI built onto it. So you can get your magic editor, your call screening, you can get your best take. All those beautiful features that we love on Pixels is now built onto this $500 device. Hey, it's a win there, if you ask me. How about the battery life? Well, thankfully, the battery has not changed much from the Pixel 8. I believe they're only like 50 to 100 mAh apart, honestly. But in my experience, I get around the same battery life. I get about 5-ish hours, maybe 6. Basically, it's going to last you all day unless you're a super heavy user. And if you are a super heavy user, you're probably looking at a Galaxy Ultra or a Pixel 8 Pro or iPhone Pro Max. You're probably looking for those phones that have the bigger battery, so you're not really thinking about this guy. But if you're just somebody looking for a nice, affordable phone that can do everything a flagship can and last all day, this is your boy. This is actually really solid. I was surprised. I expected more downgrades. Even in the camera department, that's where the biggest downgrade I think is, but even so, it looks amazing. It's a pixel camera. So even though the sensor is 64 megapixels, it's a smaller sensor, so it doesn't grab in as much light as your Pixel 8 and 8 Pro counterparts. So what that means is, even though you will get crisp, contrasty images with good lighting conditions, when you bring down that light and you find yourself in low light situations, it does start to fall apart. You will see more noise and artifacts in those shadows, and it will take a little bit longer to process than your Pixel 8 or 8 Pro. The camera is weaker, you don't have any telephoto lens, but for a $500 device, it's a really good camera, fast shutter speed, and it still has that pixel processing, and that actually helps lift up some of the hardware limitations on the Pixel 8a. So basically what I'm saying is, for $500, this is an actually solid device. I mean, I've gamed on it, I've played a little bit of Need for Speed, of course my Pokemon Go, you can't go anywhere without playing Pokemon Go. I've used it for work, I've used it to take pictures, I've used it for everyday life. I actually kind of want to put my main SIM card in this because I love the form factor, I love this rounded look, and it kind of makes me sad about some of the rumors that we've seen on future Pixel devices. I don't know how true they are, but nailing the rounded look here and then going to that flat side, it's kind of jarring, but what can I say? And as for the whole Pixel 8 on sale debacle, hey, if you see a Pixel 8 on sale, buy it. But if not, if you're just buying a phone outright, or if Best Buy or Verizon or T-Mobile, or if any of these carriers have deals, this is a solid one, especially when it comes to older people and kids that you just want to keep track of. They're going to enjoy the Pixel. It's going to be fast, smooth, social media is great on it. It doesn't have any weird hiccups. The software has been matured. We're about to be on Android 15, and it's just a really good pocketable device. Now, I don't like the fact that it's not Gorilla Glass Victus because it is a weaker glass. I don't like the fact that it's slower charging, wired and wireless. I don't like the fact that it's IP67 as opposed to IP68. And I don't like the fact that the screen, despite being its actual display and being 120 Hz, it's not the best quality. There's still some artifacting at certain angles. But those are small nitpicks for a $500 phone. Now, I'm bougie. I'm always going to go for the Pro device, especially if we get a Pro device in this size. But for everybody else, unless there's a big deal going on, a promotion, it's a great buy. Another phone being on promotion is not a negative of this phone. It's a positive of the Pixel lineup. I don't understand that argument. I think we're just once again being hard on Pixels. Maybe I'm being easy on Pixels. But you know what? The Pixel 8a, it makes it really easy to be easy on this guy. It makes it a really easy sell for anybody who's just trying to get in there. Now, I wish these phones were still at the $399 price range, but hey, everything's going up. And they haven't gone up since last year, so that's a win. It could have been $550 or $600 because this is very close to a Pixel 8. honestly, performance-wise, you're not gonna, despite it being a little lower clock, that's not really gonna be a big difference for you. It's gonna have a beautiful screen, decent cameras, great battery life for its price range, and just an all-around fun experience with all the Pixel AI features. So, if you're on the fence about it, and you were wondering why these reviewers were saying that it's not a good value, it's because the 8 goes on sale. So, if that's the case, obviously, go with the 8. It's a better phone. But if not, or if this has its own deal, not a bad value at all. Especially because Pixels always go on sale. So, that's how I feel about it. That's what I was looking at. I don't think I could put my SIM card in here because I am a bougie little guy and I need to have the pro features. And I love the 8 Pro camera. But until next time, thank you for letting me talk about tech, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.